Hey everyone, The Roses, starring Benedict Cumberbatch and Olivia Colman, is both a remake of the original film and an adaptation of the book War of the Roses, with a few twists to update it for a modern audience. In this 2025 landslide of remakes and updates and reimaginings, is The Roses worth your time? That's what we're going to get into so you can decide if this is a movie you want to watch in the theaters or skip or catch later. Overall, this is going to be a spoiler-free review, but after my recommendation at the end, there is a spoiler-filled section that's really focused on the ending of the film and why The Roses, in my opinion, possibly could be superior to the original film. And just a quick reminder while you're here to please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe for more, and thank you so much. I really appreciate it. All right, so let's get into it. The Roses is a dark romantic comedy about Theo and Ivy Rose, this quirky British couple who share the same wry, acerbic sense of humor. And looking for a fresh start, they move from London to San Francisco, where Theo thrives as the successful architect, and Ivy is a gifted chef, but she puts her career on hold to raise her children. Their bond is unique. They get each other in a way that no one else does, and that connection really keeps pulling them back together. Eventually, Theo buys Ivy a restaurant, and she's always dreamed of it, and she finally gets her chance to make it a success. But the very night that Ivy's restaurant takes off, Theo's career just comes crashing down. And from there, their fortunes reverse, and neither really handles it very well. Miscommunications, mistakes, and insecurities, they just pile up. And with each new wound, it makes it harder to say, I'm sorry. Honesty becomes painful, exposing moments of vulnerability that open the softest parts of themselves to unintended attacks that just leave these lasting scars are almost impossible. And at the same time, little fights and cutting remarks transform their home into a battleground. Yet, even in the middle of the storm, there's still something undeniable about Theo and Ivy. There's a sense that they are perfectly matched for each other, even as sharp, small moments spiral out of control to the winner takes all finale at the end of the film. I won't say more just to avoid spoilers, so I'm going to leave it right there. But my first impression of The Roses is that it's unmistakably a remake, but one that has just the right twist in it to feel written for a 2025 audience, making it feel relevant and fresh and darkly funny. At times, the film even feels like an action movie, except the explosions are made of words. Volleys of repartee are fast, precise, and often comically brutal. Many scenes are laced with bitter, biting comedy that feels uncomfortably honest from the audience's perspective, even as the full emotional truth remains hidden from both Theo and Ivy. That lack of honesty only deepens their problems, despite the fact that they still clearly love each other, even while hating who they have become as a couple. This tension makes part of the story painful to watch. It's difficult to see two people still care deeply for each other while slowly destroying themselves and struggling to accept how their personal and professional lives have changed. However, the one thing that didn't work for me is the false dichotomy that the film sets up, that one parent must always work while the other always stays home. That simply isn't true. Two parents can both work and still raise their children, especially once the kids are old enough to go to school or daycare. I understand why the filmmakers leaned into this choice, but for me, it really stood out as the one structural weakness in the story. The Roses works because it never forgets that Theo and Ivy are uniquely suited for each other. That foundation gives the story its strength and makes the sharp, biting exchanges between them both feel very natural. Benedict Cumberbatch and Olivia Colman deliver their romantic anger in a way that I honestly think only two Brits could pull off. I don't believe two American actors, for instance, could have managed these exchanges without sounding downright cruel or petty. But Cumberbatch and Colman bring a grace and familiarity to the roles that keep the relationship feeling believable even as it slowly unravels. And through it all, you can't help but to hope that they find a way back to each other. Theo Rose lives at the center of professional tension as his life teeters between pride and collapse. You feel his humiliation and loss of hope as he is suddenly no longer the man he imagined himself to be, this respected professional. His ruin contrasts with Ivy's rising success, complicated by the fact that she has sacrificed her dream for his early career, only for him to give her this restaurant of her dreams kind of right before the height of his ruin. Her rise in turn costs her closeness with her husband and her children. And like Theo, when she reaches the peak of her career, she hands him the chance to build his dream house. And this is his way back into the world as a celebrated architect. Their gifts to each other carry a beautiful symmetry that underscores their core love, even as those same successes and failures spark jealousy, insecurity, and frustration. What makes it powerful is how ordinary these conflicts feel within a marriage. Together, they capture what it's like to love someone, be hurt by them, and still want to stay, even when you can't say the words aloud, even when the situation feels like your heart and your lungs are on fire with every new conflict that drains the air from the room. What the film nails is how they communicate. In their words, the cadence of their dialogue, the knowing side glances and grins, whether in affection or combat, just hit the nail on the head. It's that snarky wit that is both their love language and their sharpest weapon. And when wit becomes the only thing left to offer, vulnerability feels impossible and reconciliation just slips further away. Cumberbatch and Colman glide seamlessly from charming repartee to knives out banter, showing how a thousand tiny cuts can build until the wound feels too raw to heal. And it all emerges through these small and large choices that each character makes, choices that reveal their deepest fears while unintentionally undermining the other's sense of security within the relationship. This is a great metaphor movie. It shows how hard it is to let go of something once you love it and once it starts to hurt you. The more you hurt, the tighter you grip, not realizing you're damaging both yourself and the thing you're trying to protect. Early on, there's this therapy scene where they're asked to share 10 things that they love about their spouse. What they each share is increasingly awful and hilarious, giving us a mirror to the structure of the movie itself. And it reveals exactly who these two characters are. And it also shows us that even in their bitterness, the Roses choose each other over anyone else. It's our first glimpse into these two unusual people who are tuned to the same private frequency that others just can't hear. The film is at its truest when it shows that the unraveling isn't one big blow, but a slow bleed. It's like holding a freshly grown rose stem. At first, you're captivated by the beauty of the flower, but as time passes, the thorns just kind of grow into your hand. Soon you realize that it hurts as much to hold on to it as it does to tear yourself free. But letting go means losing the flower, and holding on means enduring the pain. So, what do you choose? The Roses is a dark comedy like we haven't seen in years, and it succeeds because it does exactly what this genre is meant to do. It pokes at performative apologies, therapy speak turned into a weapon, professional envy inside of a marriage, competitive parenting, and class snobbery over work and taste. It also prods at the social habits that curdle into poison inside relationships, asking why we cling to grudges, why apologies are so hard to make when we're wrong, and why they're just as hard to accept when we've been hurt. Most of all, it shows how easy it is to lose track of each other's pain and joy when we are consumed by our own success or failure. Experiencing a film like this in a public theater adds another layer. You hear others laugh, chuckle awkwardly, or gasp at moments that resonate with you. And at other times, you feel the disconnect when something only hits the people around you. But then the film pulls you all back into the story, and in that moment, it binds the audience into a collected, shared experience. That's the quiet magic of cinema. It creates social bonds within society through stories that create bridges across classes, society, and geography. So, is The Roses worth seeing in the theater? You know what? I actually think it is. Strangely, it's a great film to spur conversation afterwards. It's a good film for families, friends, couples, and people who, like me, just like to see smartly written, well acted films that leave you thinking. While there are themes and messages in the film, The Roses shows how these things just naturally come out of a well told story and creates a fantastic contrast with other films in which themes and messages are just crammed into the story and feel really unnatural to what's actually happening on screen because it's aimed at the audience and not at the characters. Thankfully, The Roses doesn't make that mistake and just follows good storytelling practices. And all of those themes come out of the story naturally, like I said. The only caveat to my recommendation is that if you don't like British humor, dark comedy, or lots of fighting and romantic relationships in a film, this probably isn't a movie for you. If you love the original film and you go into this film expecting a remake that is completely new and different, you're likely to be disappointed because it uses the same basic story structure, but with some changes that will make the roses feel relevant to a new or younger audience. So, the roses, what did you think? Have you seen it? Have you seen the original 1989 version with Michael Douglas and Kathleen Turner? How did you think this version with Benedict Cumberbatch and Olivia Colman measured up? What do you think about the slight twist in the ending and how that changed the overall theme of the film? Definitely let me know in the comments. All right, everybody. So here's my promised spoiler take on the ending of The Roses and why I think this film is actually superior to the original film because of its twist. If you don't want to be spoiled, definitely click away now and come back later. In the original film, The War of the Roses, with Oliver and Barbara's marriage collapsing in this venomous rage that even as they kind of lie dying on the floor, they can't reconcile. Barbara's rejection of Oliver's final gesture becomes the ultimate symbol of a love destroyed by ego and resentment. In contrast, The Roses follows Ivy and Theo through the same spiral of escalating hostility, but ends on a profoundly different note. In their final confrontation, separated by a locked door, they trade raw confessions. They never stopped loving each other, but pain and pride kept them apart. It kept them from sharing that bit of honesty. When Ivy finally screams out her love for Theo in this weird rage moment, there is this stunned silence in the theater that ripples from the screen to the audience, broken only when Theo opens the door between them. Opening that door is basically opening it both literally, physically, and emotionally in this film. For a moment, it really does feel like a happy ending might actually be possible. That hope is shattered in the final twist as they reconcile, and the house explodes as a result of their last fight. Ivy's admission becomes proof that there was still something worth saving in this marriage, but their truth dies with them. To the outside world, the lesson of their story is not the one that they actually learned as a couple. This ending is a thematic departure from the original. Oliver and Barbara die bitter and alone, while Ivy and Theo die together and in love. Yet both are denied a future, leaving their stories as cautionary tales. The 2025 ending matters because it reshapes that cautionary tale for today's audience. Rather than condemning marriage as a battlefield where no one wins, it acknowledges that reconciliation is possible, but fragile and vulnerable forces can tear it apart, these forces that are just out of our control sometimes. By letting Ivy and Theo rediscover their love, only to lose everything in an accident, the film delivers a tragedy that is both heartbreaking and profoundly human. It avoids the bitter cynicism of the 1989 film in favor of hope mixed with heartbreak, a tone that resonates more deeply with contemporary audiences. Thanks so much, everybody. Please be sure to give this review a thumbs up and subscribe for more, and share this review with someone who might be thinking about seeing this film. So don't forget to let me know what you think in the comments below, and I will see you all again soon. In the meantime, happy viewing. Bye for now.